I mean, nobody seemed to. Oh, there we are. See, now we're on. Now we can do the things we do when we're on that are different from the things we do that we're off.
Well, as I was saying, I haven't viewed the world today. I don't know what the world is doing, except, well, maybe if the heat dome is continuing, let's see what we're going to have today. We're going to have, oh, the temperature went down. 76 will be the high today. That's unusual. I thought it was going to be more like 85.
Well, I think, Mikey, and by the way, he's Michael Knight, and he's down in Pasadena, California. I'm New York Vinnie, and I'm up here in Seattle, Washington, where it is freaking freezing.
Sorry.
I
Well,
mean, but anyway, but I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be anywhere, to be honest with you. I shouldn't say that because there's a lot of bad anywheres I've been to in my life.
that's what Benjamin Netanyahu's war cabinet said. We're happy to be anywhere, but we're lucky to be anywhere. And then bingo, they were nowhere. Just like that. They were there, and then they're nowhere.
Yeah, that's boy, that isn't going to come to a resolution anytime soon. I don't think.
Why can't they dump this guy and get Biff Jiggerman to lead the country?
Because I think there seems to be enough hardline people over there that believe, as Netanyahu does, that their only chance for survival
Is the death of everybody.
is is wiping everybody out. And so,
That's the funny thing about that is hardline people have an easy position. Their answer is no to everything.
right.
Okay, we're going to feed these. Nope, we're not going to feed them. Well, they're thirsty. We're going to give them. Nope, we're not going to give them water. Well, then we're going to let the aid in. Nope, no aid.
No.
What about ceasefire? No, no ceasefire. So it's remarkably easy to be a hardliner. You can do it all day long and never be wrong. You're right as far as the hardliners that are with you are concerned. You got their future and their considerations in mind at all times, and all you have to do is say no to everything.
Yeah.
And
It's,
that's not even a child's position. That's not even a third grader's approach to reality. And they think they'd come up with some sophisticated response to everything that the earth will offer them. And the truth is, they couldn't be more wrong. Their hard line equates to no line whatsoever. They haven't got a position. They don't have a theory. They don't have a way out. They don't have a concept. It's just no. Thank God for coffee. I thank coffee every day.
and then
No, Vinny. No.
boy,
Just no. That's all. I don't know what you were going to say. You were going to say something about being here or being there, but the answer is no.
well,
By
there
the way,
was a
did you ever try to give a dog or a cat a no answer?
there was a time in Slovakia.
Oh boy, wasn't there? Those were the
Yes,
days.
there was a great time in Slovakia a couple of years ago. But there was a time in Slovakia when they were faced with a similar situation. And the people stood up and said, wait,
Wait, they didn't say no. Those aren't hardliners.
no, they took a different tack because, as you know, Slovakia is a developed nation in so many ways. So many
Oh,
ways it's not. In so many ways it is. And all of a sudden, I remember being there. I remember on one of my trips to Slovakia, I was standing just north of 66A.
hmm
Hadn't
hoping
been
for
completed yet, but for certain sections you could drive down it.
finding the right hotel is not easy because there's only like one.
Well, yeah, but if you go to 66, there's a lot of hotels.
Aren't they
Uh,
called? They're not called motels. They're called car, um, auto,
auto
autobahn,
courts.
autobahn. I don't know what I don't know what they're called. They're
No,
like gas station motel restaurants all in one.
They're called extra bedrooms, where many of them contain of course, a lot of farms. They're extra bedrooms, and
No,
many
no,
of
no,
them
no.
contain a father's daughter.
Oh, Spolpakia, how I've missed you.
A farmer's daughter. They don't, but they can't, by law, advertise the farmer's daughter
So
because
not
people would think it's a joke. So they just have, you pull up and the guy says, "Well, I
just
have one
pull
room
up.
left."
You're lucky. There's one room left, and I have tickets to the game.
And I have to go out, but the room is my daughter's room.
And you have to promise.
I have to promise. You have to be you have to be, promise me that you'll. And you're tired, so you go, yeah.
All this happened in 66A.
No, this is on 66. 66A is trying to get there, but they cut out a lot of the farms.
And some of the farmers are missing as well, for that matter.
So anyway, no, these people in Spolpakia, though, did at a government meeting get together, and I hope you can hear them. I'm going to play them now. First, we have to sit through a commercial because it is. There we go.
Well, I thought my razor was dull until I heard his speech. And that reminds me of a story that's so dirty I'm ashamed to think of it myself. I don't know what they have to say. It makes no difference anyway. Whatever it is, I'm against it. No matter
Groucho.
what it is or who commenced it, I'm against it. Your proposition may be good, but let's have one thing understood. Whatever it is, I'm against it. And even when you changed it all, condensed it, I'm against it. I'm opposed to it. On general principles, I'm opposed to it. The months before my son was born, I used to yell from night till morn, whatever it is, I'm against it. And I've kept yelling since I first commenced it. I'm against it.
He had a horrible voice, but he loved to sing. And what movie was that from?
Boy, is that is it from Horse Feathers?
Excellent.
I'm against it.
I'm sure you have a wonderful plan, but please, you must understand, I'm against it.
When the whole stadium thing was going down,
Play that every night.
like every other night or something, we would pull that out and play it. Whenever the I'm against it people would, we dedicate it to them. I mean, it's just how many times we played it. We had to actually make dedications. But
Seattle was good for people who were against it, and they had a list of things that went back all the way to the Space Needle that they had been successfully against.
And interestingly enough, everything that they were against got built.
That's why they were against it. Firmly, totally, completely committed to be against it. If it wasn't for their attitude, it would have never been built.
The only thing that they were against that didn't get built was the monorail that goes to West Seattle. That was the only thing they got stopped.
And they didn't like that because it was too easy to get to West Seattle?
Yeah, it was too easy to get to West Seattle. So now they're going to build another one. And they're not asking this time. They're just doing.
Whatever happened to that tunnel? The tunnel that they built with Big Bertha and the boring hole and the...
And that's, nobody asked about that. Well, they did ask about that, actually. And everybody said, well, we want to get rid of that that monstrosity, that
That underpass.
double deckered highway that you have there that people used to cruise over and get a beautiful look at the waterfront. I mean,
That was the one built by the same people who built the Embarcadero Freeway, correct?
it looked to be, yes. And
Earthquake collapsible, space saver.
well, but boy, it was sure pretty when you were driving to the ballpark from North Seattle. Well, Queen Anne, you got on that thing, and for it would put your head straight, man. I mean, looking at the water and the waterfront and the bay and everything, Elliott Bay, and all of the beautiful stuff that was going out there, the boats and everything. I always thought it was a very refreshing and a very calming place.
But it was built with a collapsible upper deck.
Well, you didn't know it was going to collapse.
You didn't know when, you mean?
Uh, You didn't know when, but it might not have.
After the Loma Prieta earthquake, the World Series earthquake, I was in San Francisco at the office of my good friend Terry Forget, who had an office in the building next to the ferry building. So we were right underneath the Embarcadero Freeway, which was still standing at that time. It hadn't come down, but we could not help but notice that the cement supports that kept the first deck for the second deck all along the Embarcadero had crumbled during the earthquake and lost parts of their support system, which were in the street below. We said, there's a design flaw. We have a problem with this freeway. And it was never used again.
Yeah,
It was closed then, and it was closed until they tore it down. So for the folks of Seattle that reminisce about the beautiful view, all I can say is it would change in a New York minute with the right shake going on. I saw it for myself. And even in San Francisco, where being able to put something off can take generations to rectify, they tore that sucker down.
It what it really did is it just called for its time, probably at the right time.
They were
Now,
just lucky.
really, if you think about it, sentimentality aside, with the number of heavier cars that are on the roads these days, the pickups, the electric cars that weigh, some of these electric pickups weigh 10,000 pounds. I surely believe and firmly believe
Don't go driving on the ice.
that the weight of these newer vehicles in a few years would knock these would damage them severely anyway. This was probably triple the weight that these things were built for.
Of a Cadillac DeVille.
Yeah, I mean they had taken trucks off of them that were, I don't know, 10,000 pounds and more.
That's a lot of pounds to be driving around.
Right.
By
And
that
your
weight.
average electric vehicle with the battery is, I don't know, 7,000 pounds. Some of them are 8.
I'm against it.
So it was probably in reality time for that thing to come down, as we will start to see with many bridges
Lloyd Bridges.
and overpasses, Lloyd Bridges and Jeff Bridges and Bo Bridges will all have to come down.
They've all got to come down.
The bridge over troubled water will have to be rewritten.
Bridge over the River Kwai will never make it to the other side.
They'll take half the theme to try to lighten it up.
Johnny Maestro in the Brooklyn, never mind, is coming down.
Sorry, you guys go back to being the crests. Um, yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of, and the kicker in the whole story is that how do we fund building bridges and do everything? By the gas tax.
Oh, the gas tax.
And what do electric vehicles not pay?
They don't pay a gas tax, but some of the $10,000 batteries got to go to the capital city, right?
Not right now. Matter of fact, they get tax breaks to build those cars.
Hmm.
So eventually, you're going to have to pay by weight of the car as opposed to miles you drive, and you'll have to pay it up front.
You pay on purchase.
Or you'll get a thing on your car that sends your mileage to the Department of Licensing.
Oh, it doesn't matter. We're monitoring your car. The insurance company is helping us with it.
Yeah, and they will know how many miles you drive, and they will send you a bill accordingly. So instead of taking it out, 12, 15, 18 cents at a time when you buy gas, they will take it out. You'll get a bill every month.
We thought about it. And we want our money up front.
So that's coming. That'll be here before you know it. So nothing is for free. If you have an electric car and you're driving it now, enjoy it because you're getting away with something.
Soon to be rectified. Do they have electric cars in Slovakia, by the way?
One.
And you can't charge it, so it just sits there.
Oh no, it doesn't need a charge. The inventor of the Slovakian electric car, the Zzz, Zzz.
Is that the brother of?
Yes, he invented the gasoline car. Anyway, Zzz invented a car that stays plugged in. It's got a long wire to it. It never runs out of electric.
I've seen that driving up and down the frontage road. And when I say the frontage road, I mean the only frontage road.
The frontage road. You got 66, you got 66A, and you got the frontage road that runs right in the middle of them.
And as frontage roads go, it's the only one they have, but they did a beautiful job. And it says frontage road.
Many people say that the frontage road is a better road than 66 or 66A.
They like it better?
The problem is the electric car, the Zzz, has a problem on the frontage road because the cord gets caught up whenever they go under
the underpass.
The 66 or the 66A.
Why can't they do anything right in Slovakia? Why can't they just plan and
Well, they think it's right, Michael. They think that it is perfectly all right because they say you don't have to stop to charge your truck up, your car up. You don't have to stop to there's no range anxiety unless somebody at home unplugs it.
Range anxiety, is that what they call someone who's driven past their charge?
That's what they call the entire trip when people don't know, well, is this thing going to have enough to make it?
Range anxiety. That's a great phrase.
Range anxiety. It's when you worry about, well, am I going to make it in this car? Is there going to be a charge up place between where I am and where I'm going? And in case this thing drops down, I can plug it in.
Or you think there's going to be one because it says on the map, but it hasn't been installed yet because it was based on guesstimates of the future.
Or worse, what seems to happen is somebody has either gotten pissed off about it
Burned it.
and they beat the damn thing to death. I encountered there's a solar one between right as you cross the Columbia River on I-90.
By Vancouver?
No. The Columbia, no, by I-90. By
I'm sorry.
Vantage. Vantage. And
We're getting close to Washtenaw again. Careful.
right, so you get down and you go along the side of the river for about 10 miles, and there is a solar EV charging station.
But
now, you would think when you would design a solar EV charging station, you would design it that the solar power that you capture during the day, you would hold in the batteries for the night.
au contraire.
This sucker was designed that it just took down it didn't hold, or the batteries weren't working, or something was wrong.
It's direct.
And so I sat there and charged on it for an hour and a half and got nothing. As a matter of fact, I had less when I was plugged in than when I didn't. So they had to come with a tow truck and tow me
to the next one.
To what's the city there? Not Clay Elum, but before Clay Elum as you're heading back, and had to tow me into a Taco Bell which had 3 charging machines.
They've done this how many times now? How many times have they towed someone to Taco Bell?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I was told. I'm sure I'm not the only one, because there's a long stretch of I-90
with no chargers,
with no high-powered chargers.
That gives you charge distress,
and that gives you range anxiety when you are going across. Now, if you have a vehicle that holds a 400-mile charge, you're okay. Theoretically, if you have a vehicle that holds a 250-mile charge, that's okay. But that 250 miles comes down considerably when you're driving on the freeway.
Yeah.
And if you put the AC on or the radio on, it really comes down considerably. But you don't care because there's charges on the way. You can stop and pull in. But when there's no charges on the way,
well, from now on, just go to the Taco Bell.
You don't just have range anxiety. You have range shit in your pants.
Oh, they do that in Slovakia a lot.
Well, no, because their electric car has a cord.
More than they need to. They're pooping their pants. I think they're doing it on purpose.
I think they do that for other reasons.
Well, whatever those reasons are, the result is always the same. I had my reasons. Yeah, but look at the mess you made. Look at this mess. What are we going to do over here? Did you see little Stephen and Bruce on 60 Minutes last night?
No, I thought I saw that like a couple of months ago. Was it a different one?
No, it was a repeat, but it was worthy.
Yeah, no, I thought it was, the first time I'd seen it, I thought it was very good. I'd have to get a tissue here.
Go ahead. 60 Minutes caught up with little Miami Steve Van Zandt, the guy with more names than most people have. at the Bruce Springsteen show in Rome, Roma, Italia. See, Italia, and talked about joining the group, leaving the group, rejoining the group, and resuming his musical direction of the E Street Band, working on behalf of the furtherance of the career of his best friend, Bruce Springsteen. And somehow Miami Steve Van Zandt has become the adorable consigliere of the whole outfit. And it's just wonderful to see how he has blossomed and changed as an artist and as a person to be a little bit of bada bing, a little bit of New Jersey, a little bit of rock and roll, a little bit of the underground garage. All these little elements have melded together under his tutelage to be a fascinating guy. Fascinating guy. I'd love to have lunch with him.
Well, excuse me, he took on an interesting role, and I don't know if he had this in him before he did The Sopranos, or he took the role in The Sopranos to heart. And I don't think they really covered that in the interview. But he really is the consigliere to Bruce.
The only guy who tells him what's what.
Yeah, he's the only guy that I guess really can tell him, straight up. Although I always got the feeling that anybody in that band could, except maybe for Charlie Giordano. Because Charlie's a little strange.
I mean, this is a New Jersey bar band. They're not all shrinking violets. They all have opinions. They've all got something to say. They've all got something to add to the soup.
Right. I mean, I think if you go through the band and who has what to say, obviously Bruce is at the top.
Right.
Miami is second. I would say that Roy Baton has an inordinate amount of influence in that band.
Because if you play piano in that band, you are a busy person.
You're a busy person in that band, and also he seems to be a very even, trusted voice.
Yep.
Musically
and otherwise.
I'd say Max is probably next down the chain,
mm-hmm.
because they've been together. The guys that have been with him the longest. Max wasn't with him since they were kids, but they knew Max, and Max is, done a million times better than who was the other drummer? Vinnie Lopez, I think, was the. Then I think Danny Federici had a lot to say because they grew up together.
Mm-hmm.
They knew each other from the shore and everything like that.
The big man.
And he's passed. And, it's odd because I don't know. The Clarence Clemens had a lot to say. I think that Bruce loved him. But Clarence was a bit of a loner, I guess. Maybe, or because I remember at the funeral, Bruce said, you sure gave me a lot of trouble, but I loved every minute of it. So it kind of indicated that as far as
he was a squeaky wheel.
Yeah, he was a free dude. I mean, he was a nice guy. He just did some crazy stuff sometimes. Especially when he was living up in Marin, over by Narada. I guess there was
Narada Michael Walden.
Yeah, I guess there was some shit going on up there. But yeah, I mean, it's as tight a band. I've always been fascinated by what the financial split up is for that band. I've always been wondered, are they all equal partners? on what the record makes? Do they all get a piece of the publishing? How does that all work? And
We'll never know.
yeah, maybe we'll know someday. I mean, it doesn't like I don't stay up nights thinking about it, but it would be fascinating to know if there are guys that are richer than other guys on that band. Something tells me no, um, because they don't. Nobody ever seems to be. You never hear anything about discontent. You never hear anything about any
What about the guy
complaint.
that? What about the guitarist that joined Lade from Grin?
Nils Lofgren.
Thank you, Nils Lofgren.
Well, he's been there long enough.
He's been there a while, but not as long as the other
Right,
guys.
right. So maybe he gets a package that starts at when he
Hmm.
joined the band.
Right.
So, but he had a pretty decent career before he joined.
Yes, he did.
The guys I wonder about and what their situation is like Nick Clemens. I mean, the kid Clemens and Susie Tyrell and Charlie Giordano, who took the piano player's not the piano player, took the organist's place.
Hmm. And they have a new bass man.
Well, he's been there since the beginning, so I'm thinking he's equal. He's an equal guy.
I thought the bass player died.
No, 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 he's still around.
Okay, my mistake.
No, it was the organist that died. Um, Gary Talent is still much alive. Gary W. Talent.
Well, the industry is very kind to bands who get paid for not playing. They're on retainer. Somehow Bruce keeps them at bay. I'm going on the road without you. You still get paid. I'm going on the road with you. You get paid a different level. I don't know how that works, and I'm just guessing. I'm going to do Broadway for 5 years. We're not going on the road at all.
Well, I'm sure that those guys got paid. A number of people got paid while he was doing his solo stuff. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I mean, they were all off doing different stuff.
Yeah, and there's a lot
Uh,
of them. It's a major head count where most bands are 4 or 5 people to take full consideration of.
and the only ones I think that weren't doing anything, much of anything, was Danny Federici. I didn't see him doing much stuff. Uh, the other side of the coin is, Roy Baton would be on a lot of other people's records. So he was, when they broke up, he was on a bunch of different records. Um,
Number of the
and any
guys
one of
tried.
those guys would draw a sold out house
Yeah.
to see their performances. They could do mini tours or go out on the road with somebody else that needed a piano player.
Big Man had a solo career. Miami Steve had a solo career.
Yeah. Steven had a solo career. Big Man had a great solo career for 5 or 6 years. And then one day, the people I always would feel sorry for were the roadies and stuff. How were they taken care of? Were they taken care of at all? Were they given like a huge, chunk of money at the end and said, "Here"?
Well, Bruce's guitar technician is probably kept close to the vest.
Yeah, he's probably not going anywhere.
Maybe the director of travel and accommodations. Can you imagine booking all those people into a motel in Bordentown, New Jersey?
The traveling secretary. Um, yeah, I think that was Dave Marsh's wife for a
Really?
long time. Yeah, I think that was Barbara Carr who did that for a long time. Still does, actually. She's had her work cut out for this year and last year because they've been getting sick all the time on the road.
Yeah. Book it, cancel it.
Yeah, I seem to think now they're going to be up here, I believe, um, Thanksgiving weekend, and I am starting to get the feeling, and I may be wrong, but I am starting to get the feeling that
Cannelloni.
that's going to be the last show.
You mean your last show seeing them?
No, their last show.
Just total, that's the end. We're not doing it anymore. How old is Bruce?
I think
74?
he's 74. Yeah, I mean, I guess he theoretically could go on till he's 80, but he seems to be getting sick on the road a lot. I mean, they've had to cancel dates on this tour um, two times. So I don't know, and I mean, it's a excuse me.
Just got a sort of a sleepy day, isn't it?
Yeah, it is up here. Yeah, it's definitely up here. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, they stay over in Europe until August, I think. Um, yeah, they return to Pittsburgh
To play each and every of the three rivers.
to play two date
Not one, but all three rivers.
two dates in Pittsburgh. Then they do Philly, D.C., Baltimore, Asbury Park. Good luck getting tickets for that one. Uh,
What's the venue in Asbury Park where they're going to play?
some festival. You know, I've seen Bruce in Asbury Park, so I have no big compulsion to go see him there.
To return to the
Yeah, I saw him once. You know, so I can understand. Now, the original end of this thing was supposed to be November 22nd at Rogers Arena, but they have now added dates, four canceled dates. Marseille, France in May of 2025, the Czech Republic in June of 2025,
Are they playing Spolpakia?
San Siro Stadium in Milan, Italy on June 30th and July 3rd, 2025.
So it sounds like they're not playing Spolpakia.
No, but they could add dates on. I would really love to go see the Marseille show.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw Stevie Wonder in Marseille many years ago, and I'd love to see Bruce there.
Marseille can be a tough town.
I know, I know. It's not the easiest place to be.
Later today, as soon as we conclude here, I'm going to run to the store and get donuts at Roy's Donuts, and then head out to the Faro Valley of San Fernando Valley to meet the grandchildren. And we're going to do a little late Father's Day hello there.
Oh, you didn't see them for Father's Day?
Now, they were playing golf with their father.
Ah, yeah, yeah. I sometimes forget that. It's the grandchildren. As I have no grandchildren, it's a little different. You got to give that day over to the dad.
Plus, when it comes right down to it, today, tomorrow, it's all going to work out.
Yeah, I would think that excuse me, that it's
Plus,
a
I have to bring donuts because I always bring donuts. And the fact is, if I don't show up with the donuts, there's no party.
well, and I think you should be showing up with donuts, Pally.
Oh, it's my next stop.
Yeah, I think it's incumbent upon you to show up with donuts. If that's what those if that's what those little kids are expecting out of you,
And the
then I
level of
think,
this, when you're 8 and 5, the level of disappointment shows through immediately.
oh
It's
yeah,
like
there's no middle ground. It goes from
they're not trying to
white
cover their feelings.
to red. Yeah, there's no silver in the middle. It says, well, I'm kind of disappointed, but I'll be okay.
I'll
That
be
doesn't
fine.
happen until you get to be 10 or 12.
Don't you worry about that. We don't need any donuts.
Yeah, at that age, it's all about give me donuts, give me peace on earth. Well, he's Surgeon
Hey,
General. Vivek Murthy,
I don't. Should I?
Surgeon General of the United States. He wears a uniform.
What does he say today?
He says today he would urge Congress to require a warning that social media use can harm teenagers' mental health.
And he wants that what he put on the side of the computer.
I think he'd put it on right on the social media.
It's a warning that comes up every time you sign on.
Yeah.
Hey, the Giants did something kind of interesting. They,
I hope
I,
so. A lot of people paid to see him this
I
weekend.
just wanted them to play 500 ball. This has been the measurement of their suffering this year is they can't play 500 ball. And they got close. And then the Angels came to town and beat them 2 out of 3.
Wow.
So we're still not playing 500 ball. But the Giants snapped out of it yesterday by scoring 9 runs in the 4th inning and winning the game 13-6. And I want them to remember that, not the 13 part, the 9 part. If you score runs, you can win the game. The way you've been playing the rest of the season is trying to win the game without scoring the runs. And so I want them to remember the effort that went into this. You score the runs, you win the game. It's not like you hope to win the game. And in organizing your hopes and fears, you forget to score runs, and that's how you lose the game. It's a simple game in some respects. Don't
In
don't
many
worry
respects, it is.
don't worry about the balls and strikes. Just hit the damn ball, put it in play, and good things happen. 13 runs, for instance.
Well, everybody's got to break out with a little. Got to have a little something to break out with, right? That was the. By the way, can I tell you how much I dislike these city uniforms that they've come up with?
I hate the Giants version.
I
I
hate the
hate
Mets
it.
version. I don't think I've seen one that I like. I don't like the Boston version. I just haven't seen. They look like softball uniforms. I'm not enamored with the new uniforms at all. And what they look, the regular ones or the these, I don't know what they are. but they don't look like baseball uniforms. They look like something a softball team would wear.
Well, for instance, the Boston Red Sox, who have been famous all their years for red, white, and blue uniforms, decided to go with yellow and blue. They look like my T-shirt. They look like this Marin County T-shirt. They look like the Ukrainian flag, but they don't look like anything that's ever come out of Boston. And it's an embarrassment to Major League Baseball that this is the kind of crap that each team is foisting. It's a contest to see who come up with the most out of focus, uninspiring, ugly city uniform. It's got nothing to do with the city. And the Giants are orange and white, and you can't see the logo and you can't read the number because they tried to impose fog over them. The reason you can't see the number on the back is because of the fog of the city. Get it? No, I do not.
Unbelievable. Well, luckily, uh, my Mets are, they all of a sudden have woken up. They won five in a row. They have this, they have this other mascot. I forget what they call it. It's not Mr. Met, but it's I don't know, it's a mascot of other proportions, Weedle or something like that, or some, I don't know, it's got a weird name. Anyway,
And a Weedle, of course, is something that all New Yorkers have in their back pocket. This is something that all New Yorkers can relate to.
right. So Weedle throws out the first ball like 7 days ago.
Yeah.
He gets to throw out the first ball. And lo and behold, uh, they don't lose the game now after he throws out the first ball.
And they're blaming it on Weedle, the luck of the Weedle.
And they're saying it's the luck of the Weedle. That they swept, um, they've swept the Padres over the weekend. And, some of the guys that they paid some money to
Actually, are coming through.
are actually coming through. JD Martinez is a guy that they signed just before they broke spring training. And all of a sudden, he's hitting the ball like it's going out of style.
We're looking forward to the return of three pitchers, including Robbie Ray, for the second half of the year that were dispatched to the injury list like so many other Giants. And that could spell a change in our fortunes because the Dodgers are now losing starting pitchers and starting players. Um, Yamamoto is out for who knows how long with a bad arm. Um, the shortstop outfielder um, that came from Boston. I don't memorize Dodgers names.
Yeah.
He's out. So the Dodgers are experiencing what the Giants experienced at the beginning of the season. That could even up the standings in the National League West, but you still have to win games, and that's the challenge that's presented to the Giants, which is the challenge that their designated hitters still can't hit 220. Same thing for right fielder Mike Yastrzemski. I don't know what to do with these guys who can't hit more than they can't hit their weight.
Well, it seems like, Michael, that I was just checking to make sure the Mariners have the largest lead in any division.
Crazy.
The Mariners are 8.5 up on the Rangers. They just beat them three in a row.
Is this translating into excitement at the ballpark?
It seems to be. It was pretty crowded yesterday. Uh, I happen to now Father's Day is always a traditionally crowded day,
Yep.
so it'll be interesting to go and see if they are home coming up this week. Excuse me. And I certainly want to. Let's see. They seem to be off today, so I think it's a travel day. I think they go back out on the road, and on the 18th tomorrow. Yeah, they're in Cleveland at Progressive Field to open up a series. The Giants are in Chicago, and the Mets go down to see the Rangers.
For the Cubs or the White Sox?
Cubs, Giants, and the Cubs. So it would appear to me that the Mariners have a chance, although the Guardians are a pretty good team. So I think those are going to be great games. So you have the Guardians,
The Guardians of Traffic.
the Guardians of Traffic. How could you not? How could you not love a team named the Guardians of Traffic? And they'll do three there, and then they're heading off to the Marlins, which is a that's a long trip, man.
One of the aspects of the coming of summer, the official start of summer, is fire in California. And we got a big one going right now on Highway 5 in Gorman, where the grapevine goes over the hill, over 12,000 acres. And it's not a heavily populated area, but there have been evacuations and people have lost their homes. And it's a big fire. And it's called the Post Fire. And we hope that this is not going to be an indication of the way the summer's going to go. In fact, Seattle and Washington State have similar fears because the last couple of years, I don't have to tell you, the fires in the central part of the state, where the wildfires and forest fires and brush fires can rage, has been crazy for the last 10 years. There's been
Yes,
a lot of activity.
yeah, it's certainly been something that you don't want to. You wish there was a cure for, something you could do about it, but the reality is the Earth is getting hotter. Now you can go through a thing where you say, well, the Earth's getting hotter because X, Y, and Z, and refuse to do anything about it, which is what you'll get um, in November if you elect Donald Trump, or you'll go with Joe Biden, and he and his people that he has there will say, this is very true. This is very much a problem. And we need a Congress that's going to say, we got to figure out some ways to fix this. Because 4 years is going to put us 4 years deeper in the hole.
Yeah.
And while you and I probably don't have a whole hell of a lot to worry about,
The rest of them do.
it's what kind of world are we leaving? And we don't happen to be two guys who sit around and go, oh, well, that's their problem.
Hold on a second. What are
Now,
you saying? You're not going? Okay.
so I don't know. I think we're at a sad intersection. And I don't know how you fix it, pal. We're at a sad intersection. And I have no idea in my mind how you fix it.
That's what Mookie Betts said about his broken hand. I finally figured out who it was. He says, my hand's broken. How are we going to fix this? I got no idea. That's why they have doctors, because most people who break their hand have no idea how to fix it. You got to go to
Right.
somebody who has at least a pretty good idea how to fix it.
He could travel over to Santa Monica and see Dr. Scott Simon, right?
He could, Dr. Hackenbush.
A renowned orthopedist, a man who was in Shanana who could probably sing a song to you while he's operating on you.
Or at least hum along to a tune.
Yeah, I think. I wonder if he's like so sick of oldies that he never wants to hear one again.
But when you hear the oldie that nobody plays and it's a pretty good oldie, it sounds great.
Yeah.
I heard Lies by the Knickerbockers the other day. Not as
Ooh,
old as some songs, but a great song.
great song. Yeah, I heard. I was driving along and I love this song and I've listened to.
Gesundheit. Gesundheit ist besser als Krankheit.
And I've listened to it a couple of times, from time to time, but I happen to be driving in the car. And I always will continue to, the music sounds better in the car.
Oh, yeah.
You crank it up a little bit, and all of a sudden you hear that dum, da dum, dum, da dum, dum, da dum, dum, da dum. You, for me.
Unit 4 plus 6.
The concrete and the clay, the sidewalk beneath my feet will never crumble. My love will never die, and I will see the mountains crumble before we say goodbye, my love and I.
We'll have to sing that at halftime.
It's a great song, and it's always one that's because it wasn't a big hit back then here in
But
America.
you had to play it.
You played it once in a while, but it wasn't on the top 10 rotation. But you heard it.
Right. And you can't forget it when you hear it.
And yeah, it's one of those, excuse me, Michael, the whole song has so many different little hooks in it and Easter eggs that yeah, it's a great song. Even the video they made for the song is great.
That
Where
I
they
don't
have
remember.
them at a construction site in London. Looks like downtown London. Although I wouldn't know if it was downtown Liverpool, downtown London, downtown Lancashire. I have no idea. But it's in some city downtown, and they're standing up on top of construction machines. And the construction machines are singing while they're obviously lip syncing. And it's a pretty amazing video.
I'm looking for the Unit 4 plus 6. Anyway, I'm going to run along, Ben. I got to get out to the valley. And I wish you a fabulous day, a sleepy recovery from our start.
No, I gotta get up and get going, man. I gotta stuff the stuff nose and blow it out and get going, man. I got the man has some stuff to do today.
As Roger Craig would say, blow it out your cheeser.
All right, Mikey. I'll catch up with you on Wednesday morning if the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise. Have a good weekend, pal. Good week. Say hello to those little ones, man.
I will. I'll say hello to Bo and Kennedy as soon as we get there.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
See you then.
What
a wine.
Yeah, peace, love, and Manischewitz, baby. What a wine.
Telling you, it's a great wine.
It's a hell of a wine. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. We always appreciate it. We'll see you on Wednesday. Bye-bye.
It's a wacky Wednesday. See ya.